Welcome back to Cox Pavilion. Mountain West Conference matchup about to get underway between Wyoming and UNLV. Let's take a look at Wyoming's starting lineup. They have returned 8 letter winners from last year's team. Wyoming very experienced. Whitney and Purdy on the outside. Rokarski and Jester working the middles for the Cowgirls. Tramos Yonen, the libero, very accomplished. Losich setting and Kittich on the right side. The Cowgirls are led by Carrie Yurdy in her 3rd year. Yurdy has really done remarkable things with this program in those 3 years. This may be the first team that she can truly call her own. She's recruited a lot of these players. UNLV's starting lineup had some changes throughout the last year. Kelsey Keeler playing opposite. Niall Teo is a defensive specialist for the outside hitter. It's going to be playing in the front court. Sarah Nehf outside hitting as well. Thomas and Westman, 2 freshmen in the middle. Kela Lau Hee, the libero, senior leadership from her, and of course Amanda Alex, a junior, setting for the 2nd consecutive year. Allison Keeley, the coach in her 7th year here at UNLV. It's Polynesian night, and you see her with a beautiful lei around her neck. Keeley has done some fantastic work with this program, and as we said, had a lot of changes during the offseason, so starting a lot of youth with this team. Amy, we mentioned that Wyoming returning 8 litter winners, including Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year from last year, Jody Purdy. That's really played into a lot of their success this season.
Well, it has. In talking to Coach Yurdy, she said, you know, this is the team that I've been building for the past 2.5 years.
Kela Lau Hee serving. And immediately a snap down from Lauren Whitney. Point for Wyoming.
Now UNLV running 5-1, so there's going to be 1 setter Wyoming and a 6-2. So we're going to have 2 setters on the floor, 3 hitters at the net at all times.
Whitney serving tough. And the middle battle is won, the joust, by freshman Madeline Westman of UNLV.
Well, I think it's going to be really interesting to watch the middles for UNLV. They've been forced to step into a starting role, a leadership role very early with the departure of some players for UNLV. And so talking to coaches, they said, you know, it's great to watch these middles really get better with every single practice.
They're running the middle quickly. Rokarski for Wyoming.
Well, and that's a play right there where you can see the youth of UNLV and their middles. Just not staying with your hitters. You see Wyoming runs into the 3 slot, and the middle for UNLV doesn't follow. That's wide open.
Soft touch from Sarah Nehf is picked up by Wyoming, and a free ball to UNLV. Outside and through the block goes Kelsey Keeler for the Rebels.
Kelsey Keeler with a nice swing on the outside. She's a tall player. She's got a nice arm swing. She attacks that seam and gets that deep shot.
The pass handled, the ball outside. That's the first swing Purdy has taken. And that ball goes Wyoming.
Tough block there to get blocked off your head and out of bounds. A great set, though, from the libero in Lau Hee.
Rachel Keys, a freshman out of Lakewood, Colorado, serving for Wyoming. Tough serve right at the libero, Lau Hee. Back set, goes cross court. Losich. It's a little tricky. Actually, that was Rachel Keys.
And Keys coming in, she just a freshman, shows she's pretty brave there with 3 hitters up front, decides to dump that over, test the defense for UNLV.
Wanted to introduce herself early, perhaps. Second serve went long. UNLV, a very tough serving team. They lead the conference in aces.
Well, both these teams coming into this match really wanted to focus on the serve-receive battle. So you're going to see both teams coming out serving very aggressively, trying to take each other out of their offensive systems.
Freshman Madeline Westman serving for UNLV. And the outside ball from Moyahi. Doug Purdy goes out of hands. and then turns outside when she gets the overpass.
You see the defense on both sides. I mean, we talk about UNLV. They always have good defense, always on the floor, picking balls up. We're going to see a lot of rallies tonight, a lot of points going into the extra minutes, which is going to put a lot of pressure on all of these players.
Middle! Introduced from Candace Thomas, the freshman from Fort Worth.
Well, all Allison Keeley has said she's focused on with these freshman middles is you get up, get up, get up, make yourself available. And a great job from Candace Thomas to transition that play, be up and available to hit that quick one.
A 3-0 UNLV run. The middle, Purdy a little delayed.
Well, and that play right there is, if I were Wyoming, that's what I would want to do. Run a lot of crossing patterns, try to put some pressure on these freshman middles who are working so hard to try to adjust to the college game in general, where you're working on different eye work and crossing patterns that it's easy to lose track of your hitters. If Wyoming can continue to kind of move that ball around, it's going to really help out their block.
And there you see a miscommunication from UNLV. Purdy a tough serve, but it was passed.
Exactly. I think just as things start to break down, Wyoming, as they continue to put pressure on them, they can put together a little more of a run and try to lengthen that lead.
Purdy misses her serve there. This is her first time as the Mountain West Conference Player of the Week, and the first time a Wyoming player has received that honor since 2006. As you said, she's really a franchise player for this team and seems to like taking on that role. Passes that ball, goes Purdy. Outside, a little touch from Moeahi.
A nice tip from Moeahi, but you can see there's two Wyoming defenders right there in good proximity to pick that ball up, but it's just too tight to the net. A great tip.
Keeler serves. Outside. One blocker, but Lauren Whitney goes wide.
Well, and that's the thing. I think Wyoming really sticking with their game plan, trying to attack those pins, create one-on-one opportunities. When you have that one-on-one, you've got to put the ball away.
Purdy again passes. It's tight, but a nice little set made from Keys. Straight cross court. A kill for UNLV.
UNLV loves to get up and hammer that cross court. Right inside the block. Nobody there defensively for Wyoming.
And that's a 4-0 run from UNLV. Wyoming going to take a little break. See if they can stop UNLV's train as they control set one.
I didn't deserve to get eliminated.
The goal was not accomplished. The mission was not accomplished. I came here to win.
I played solid ball. I went from the top to the bottom. That was really hard to swallow.
Reunion, revenge, redemption. Big Break Dominican Republic. Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Golf Channel.
Set one in Cox Pavilion underway. UNLV 7th in the conference currently. Winning set one by a score of 9-6 on a 4-0 run. So they're in control of set one right now.
Well, definitely. I think all these standings, really, it is yet to be played out. Just the second week, we've already seen so many upsets and just great matches with all these teams in the conference.
Kelsey Keeler, senior from Concord, California. Missed her serve there, and it's very tough to know when to serve tough, when to kind of make sure you just get it in.
Well, I think it's really important to gauge the momentum and gauge when you have a team maybe giving you points. You never want to miss your serve when you clearly have the momentum and teams are making errors.
Triple block from Wyoming. Moeahi, though, goes through over it. And that time off the hands of long-arm Lauren Whitney.
Moeahi doing a really nice job. She's just a freshman on the outside. It's very intimidating to be facing a double and sometimes triple block, but Moeahi's doing a nice job to keep the ball high. She's hitting high hands, getting some touches, getting it through that seam.
Niall Teo, sophomore out of Hawaii, Surrey. Another crossing pattern, that time Whitney. that ball a little too long, and the point goes to the Rebels.
Kelsey saw that deep tip, but just like you said, a little too far.
Niall Teo leads this team with aces, 13 aces for the Rebels. The back set, solid from Camille Kaufman, the opposite.
Kaufman's a great story too. She played middle blocker last year for the Cowgirls, but the coaches said, you know, we always just felt she was an opposite or even an outside hitter, and now she's on the right side and doing a great job.
Net violation on UNLV, and now we see that 6-2 come into effect as Losich, number 12, for Colorado, back serving, and now will be running the offense.
Well, and Losich really is that leader on the floor. She's just a great senior leader, is very calm, she makes good decisions. Ideally, Wyoming would love to have her on the floor at the end of every single match. Obviously, it doesn't always end up that way, but they try to have her on the floor when the game is tight.
The block of UNLV solid. Losich goes behind, and that ball goes wide. Wyoming struggling with some errors early on.
Well, and that's a really tough play right there. You got to know that you can't take a tough swing at that. When the ball is coming from behind you, the set, you lose track of where you are on the floor. You lose track of the block and also the net.
5 hitting errors, a double contact on the set, 3 service errors. This isn't what Wyoming volleyball has been lately. Meanwhile, Allison Keeley's Rebels in charge by a score of 14-9.
Right, exactly. If you are going to win a point, you want to earn it. And Wyoming right now feels like they're giving away too many points to the Rebels.
That was a nice use off the block of Amanda Alice.
And Wyoming getting a much-needed side out. They really need to come back as UNLV continues to lengthen that lead and get closer to that 20-point mark.
The outside sharp from Sarah Nehf. It's good.
Well, here's what's interesting. I mean, to have Wyoming do a triple block on that play, the left back needs to make the adjustment and play in a different defensive position because the front row player that is in that triple block takes away the left's where they want to dig the ball. And so this left back for Wyoming needs to make the adjustment.
And another huge block by UNLV.
We said before, UNLV very, very tough at home. They're showing it now.
UNLV hitting for 0 right now versus, or Wyoming hitting for 0 versus UNLV's 333 in terms of hitting percentage. This ball outside to Jody Purdy. And UNLV continues to roll. Madeline Westman has her first kill of the night.
Well, you see Westman doing a great job to get up and available. That's a quick transition play. These middles for UNLV can take advantage of the great defense that's behind them because the ball's going to get popped up a lot. They're going to have multiple opportunities to transition and get the kill.
Kendra Glendenning serving. Back set, somewhat broken approach. And the ball goes to Wyoming as you look at a frustrated Jody Purdy.
Exactly, and this is when talking to coaches, they said, you know, this is when Purdy wants the ball. Even when the team is struggling, that's when she even more says, give me the ball, I'll be the one to take it.
Sent outside of Purdy, no block. Keeps it in play. And Sarah Nehf taking big swings. That time it didn't go for the Rebels, but she's hitting hard.
Well, and what's working for the Rebels right now is they are winning the serve-receive game. They're keeping Wyoming from running their offense. Wyoming's forced to get an easy ball back to them. They're transitioning it, getting a kill.
Yadranka Tramasyanin serves out for the 4th service error for Wyoming. At what point do you call, hey, it needs to be in? I mean, the score is 11-19. When do you make that call saying serves need to be in, or do you not?
Well, I think it's tricky because UNLV is really offensively doing a great job. So you can't just do a nice, easy serve in because their offense clearly, you know, they're hitting close to 400. Something has got to come to shake them out of that.
For Wyoming, that usually is a tough serve for them, but with that comes errors. However, they don't have any aces today. Coaches like to see a little bit more of a balance there. Rachel Keys now serving and setting. for Wyoming in the 6-2 offense. Keys digs that ball, so Tramosionen sets. And there's a block. And that ball wide from Kelsey Keeler, point to Wyoming as they try to put together a little bit of a run.
Well, and 2 quick errors by UNLV have Wyoming coming back, slowly working their way back in.
Keys out of Mullen High School in Colorado. Double contact, and now Wyoming has a 3-0 run going.
Right, and this is, you can just feel the momentum shift off 3 errors. Both these teams, we talked about their youth, and so because of that, you're going to have a lot more errors on the floor, ball handling errors, hitting errors. Whoever can control and just cut down on their errors, I think, is going to take this match.
Allison Keeley felt that momentum shift as well and decided to take a timeout for her team. Now it's closed the gap quite a bit, and the point is 3-point difference between these 2 teams. Taking a look at Allison Keeley, she's the winningest coach in this program in UNLV and led this team to its first NCAA tournament appearance in 2007. She did have some key players leave during the offseason. It certainly hurt that Kirsty Jackson and Leah Maurer left, but she does have a very strong base coming up with the younger players.
Well, she does, and I think she was really excited about the youth she had coming in, the freshmen she had coming in. Probably didn't expect them to be as big of an impact as they've had to be, but so far she's been pleasantly surprised with the team she has on the floor.
Well, she's got Moiai, a freshman, Thomas, a freshman. That's your outside and your middle. Your other middle is also a freshman, Madeline Westman, we've seen. You've got another outside hitter, Falaimaka, big Polynesian influence here, another freshman. So you can see this UNLV program building back again to perhaps be a Mountain West Conference force again, and the way they're playing right now, that could be this year. Conference play has just begun. Keys serve. Tramosionen passes, and Purdy tries to put it away, but UNLV digs it. Wyoming not communicating well, looks on some of this. And again, the freshman Rachel Keys introduces herself by just putting the ball over.
Well, and that play was even more daring because she didn't even disguise it. She was off the net. Look, she's off about 6-7 feet, turns and sets the ball over. That's when, as a coach, you're looking at your team saying, what are you watching? You know, we're supposed to be watching ball setter, ball hitter. If you lose track of the setter and get your eyes over to your hitter too fast, that's when they're going to get you.
Middle was long for UNLV, no touch, and Wyoming has battled back. It's the longest run by any team. It's now a 5-0 Wyoming run. They're within 1 point. Block. Great cover by UNLV. Tramosionen picks that up, and they work the middle. And that middle attack from Madeline Westman is wide, and we have a tie first set.
Well, and Wyoming needed to make a run way back when, and that's when they did it. They didn't want UNLV to get too far into this set to get close to taking it at 24. A smart time to make their run.
Outside is dug by Tramosionen, solid. But again, UNLV wins on the joust. Madeline Westman patrolling the middle well.
Great dig, just a little too close to the net. I think especially for Wyoming, who has those shorter setters, it's difficult on those plays when the ball is so tight to the net for them to get there and to be able to control that ball.
And Westman leads UNLV in blocks. Purdy, meanwhile, blocked by the Rebels. Tramosionen digs the ball. Middle attack is heavy from Whitney. Trying a little tenderness, it's picked up. And wide. by Kelsey Keeler of UNLV.
Well, you can see how both these teams, the defense has really picked up on both sides of the floor. You've seen the rallies get longer and longer. The liberos coming into play with 2 and 3 digs per rally. So this is becoming a great match.
Yeah, 20 digs from UNLV already in just the first set. That ball dropped, a little campfire by Wyoming, and an opening for UNLV.
Well, exactly, and that should never happen. Obviously, you never want your setter to take the first ball, and with your libero there, you want her to take it all the time. Unfortunately, it went right in her path.
Kelsey Keeler serving. Neither team hitting well, but the defense is the reason. Purdy, again, one blocker, and she goes long.
Well, and those are those missed opportunities. When you have just one blocker up and you have a whole court to hit into, you really have to make that good decision. But a lot of times as a hitter, you feel like, oh, I've got to hammer this ball. So that's when you tend to miss.
She hammered it.
She did.
She hammered it long, though. Yeah, just a contact error.
You're right.
Perhaps, but it could be. But Wyoming trailing by 2 as we enjoy Polynesian Light here at Cox Pavilion, and with names on UNLV's roster like Lau Hee, Makaivi, Teo. You could see Moiahi. You could see why it might be Polynesian Light here.
Definitely. It's nice during the timeouts to have that come in. It's soothing almost. I think the coaches will probably enjoy it as it gets kind of tense to calm their team down.
It's calming for all of us, the fans here. It's always a tough place to play here at UNLV. The coaches agree. It's just something about the atmosphere here. And the Rebel team traditionally rises to the occasion at home.
They do. They feel comfortable here. They really feel like it's their house to defend. And talking to Coach Yurdi also, she's felt like, especially in this conference, it is very tough to win on the road. And anytime you go on the road, you've got to really buckle down and focus and feel fortunate to walk away with the win.
Wyoming trailing by 2 late in this set. They made a big 6-0 run earlier. What do you think they need to do now?
Well, I think go back. It's the errors. It's when the team controls and plays smart and mature, and that's difficult to tell a team to play mature when you've got 6 freshmen on the floor, but that's what they're being asked to do.
Geraldine Makaivi serving. Outside, why not? It's a hammer from Whitney. Tramosyanen sets. And the middle play handled by Jenna Ray Jester. Point goes to Wyoming.
Jester in great position in the middle, and as a middle, you love to see those overpasses. She hits it nice and high off hands to get that kill.
Jenna Ray Jester, the senior out of Cheyenne, now serving. Critical error right into the net.
That, especially once you hit 20-point mark, you can't miss a serve. I mean, you talked earlier about when to miss, when to not. After 20, it's got to be perfect.
Well, so there is a line for you in the sand, and 20 is it.
There is that, yeah.
Especially when it's tight like
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Niall Teo, sophomore from Hawaii, serving. Purdy with a perfect pass. Beautiful turn by Lauren Whitney, just a little too much.
Yeah, you see Whitney wanted to turn that back line. She had a lot of cross court open, but 2 quick errors, and UNLV within 2. It's really come down to these hitting errors, unforced errors on both sides of the floor.
Niall Teo serving again. The Rebels with a 3-point lead at home in set number 1. Tramosyanen starts that pass off. And the middle attack from Candace Thomas is good. Set point for UNLV.
You see Candace Thomas, such an athlete. Watch her in the middle, goes up against 2, but is able to turn that ball and get the kill.
Coach Allison Keeley told us before the match that Thomas likes the ball under pressure. Certainly worked out there. Outside. And a beautiful swing from Callie Miller of Wyoming.
Miller stepping in. The redshirt freshman in a tight situation comes out, isn't afraid to take a swing. That sets inside, the block doesn't move with her, and she can hammer it cross court.
Yeah, Miller working the outside, seeing if she can help this team that struggled offensively. Nehf! And a triple block says no.
Well, a triple block coupled with a tight set means for Sarah Nehf, that's going to be a difficult play to get over the net. You can see how that set drifts a little too close to the net. She doesn't have much to work with on that play.
It remains set point for the Rebels, and the triple block remains. This time, Nehf off the block captures the set for UNLV as they take set number 1 at home in Cox Pavilion. Wyoming sits second in the conference, but they are down by 1 set. Wyoming with a commanding lead, 15-7, under the head coaching of Carrie Yurdy. Yurdy's the 12th head coach in school history. She's in her 3rd season for this team. She was at Memphis for 12 years before this and very successful in Conference USA. Middle blocker in her own right, and all Pac-10 selection. Accomplished coach and has done incredible things with this program in the last 3 years. Thomas hits hard out of the middle and then comes back to block. But that time, off of Thomas's hands goes Callie Miller, an impact player off the bench.
Oh, she's done a great job, and on that particular play, that set very fast to the outside. Miller had to speed up her approach to even get there, but is able to get the kill.
Off the block goes Kittich, and Kittich and Miller, 2 players who didn't start, are maybe the only 2 players hitting in significant positive numbers for this Wyoming team. We've got some lower ones, and Rachel Keys, of course, is a setter, so she's dumped a few balls. Nehf puts this one down the line.
It's a nice swing from Nehf to hit that line shot. She's really developed into more of a finesse player. As a senior, she's got a lot more in her bag of tricks, and facing cross court and hitting that ball line is tough for the block to read.
Lost it. Really pretty to Rourke Cassie. Look at Wyoming's turnaround since Carrie Yurdy has taken control of this program. Took a couple of years to build it, but 16-2 this season. They're going to have a winning season for the first time in a while. Now!
That's so nice. A great set for Nehf, especially when there's nobody up. That set very tight to the net, almost a 50-50 ball, half on the other side. It's like a warm-up swing with no block in front of you.
You know, when I play, we call that a walk-off. You just leave after that play. Nehf patrolling the net up there, trying to get UNLV to have a little bit of a run.
Well, and Nehf's going to be the one to do it, because obviously with a couple great swings, she's going to feel more confident. She's going to want the ball, and as a senior, she's going to get the ball on the outside.
That ball goes up Niall Teo's arms as we see UNLV again going to their other setter, Kendra Glendenning.
It's a nice quick hit. Jody Purdy again on the outside. Such a great leader for this Cowgirl team.
Glendenning puts up a hittable ball. Free ball to UNLV. Free ball should be converted, and it is for the Rebels.
I think any time the Rebels get a free ball, that's when they go to their middle. Seems rare that they've gone to their middle out of out of the pass in serve receive. But anytime they get a ball up to the net in transition, middle is their first option.
Dig from Lau Hee is nice. Moyahi goes high and long. Pretty pursuit from Nehf. Glendenning says, I'll put it over. Losich again, goes behind, and Glendenning digs. Purdy off hands and then antenna. Point for the Cowgirls.
Well, and if you look at the run here, we've seen UNLV make a little run, but as Wyoming continues to play such great side-out volleyball, at this point for the Rebels, it's going to be difficult for them to come back. They're really going to want to get some momentum that they can hopefully carry over into that third set.
Keys serving and setting for the Cowgirls. Outside, and Moyahi goes inside the block, or outside the outside corner block. Oh, woof. How satisfying for Sikoa Falamaka.
Very good.
It's Polynesian line. I'm going to try. A freshman out of Utah, only 5 foot 8 inches. That is scratching an itch when you have a block like that, even though it was out. As a middle, I know you'd like that overpass that Jennifer Jester had.
Well, anytime you get it as a middle, you think this better go down. At least that's what I heard. Oh, okay, let's just get this to go down. But a nice shot instead of hitting it straight down, because you could see the defense totally collapse for UNLV. Jester hits it a little deeper in the court, and Wyoming just rolling in this second set.
Wyoming in complete control, 22-11. Very different from the first set that we saw, and part of that is because Wyoming has been really attacking the ball inbounds. Take a look at the numbers in the hitting percentage from first set to second set.
Just an incredible turnaround. I think the Wyoming team, not only was the pass able to get up to net, but the hitters were a lot smarter in their decisions. We see them hitting high hands, hitting deep court, and keeping the ball in play.
The other thing that Wyoming has been doing much better is serving. They had 5 service errors and no aces in the first set. They have 2 errors and 3 aces in this set, so certainly much tougher serving for Wyoming as well. The mellow sounds of Polynesian night. Everyone relaxed, maybe a little too relaxed for UNLV as they are struggling with their attack percentage again in this set. Hitting just 129. Rachel Keys serving for the Cowgirls. Mill attack is solid. Madeline Westman.
Westman with a nice quick kill there. As UNLV gets more confident going to their middles, not only out of transition but in serve receiving, they can really be an outlet and open up those outsides as the block for opposing teams is able to focus on them.
Free ball for Wyoming is actually a pretty tough free ball. Glendenning goes to the middle. Purdy finds the block. Outside from Moriahi. Purdy. Glendenning outside. Off hands. Glendenning digs. Great defensive matchup. Wyoming loses that battle, but a great defensive effort from both teams.
Well, I think both sides, and great job for the Rebels to stay with it and to work hard to try to win every point. Despite being down and struggling, probably going to lose this second set, but they really want to get some momentum back, feel good going into the break when they're tied 1-1.
Outside, Purdy, blocked. Candace Thomas, the freshman, number 4, loves it.
Thomas making a great move outside. She's a very outgoing personality, a lot of fun, can really light a spark in her team.
And that was Sikola Falamaka, again, 5'8", next to her. Got her hands on that ball. Glendenning. And it's Sikola Falamaka.
That's just fun now.
Killed, yeah, once you get the name, you're good.
Well, a great play. Falamaka hits it into the right back, and that actually threw off Wyoming because as a setter back there, you want to release and get up to play the ball. A lot of times you need to play defense first, then go set the ball.
Makaivi puts a tough serve up. Purdy. That ball pancaked up and sent deep and long. What a great up. You hate to see that wasted.
Well, great play at the end of this second set. I think both teams maintain the high level and they're finishing strong, something we really didn't see in the first set where we saw a bit of a letdown from both sides.
Jody Purdy serving for the Cowgirls. Lau Hee passes. Nice block from the middle of Wyoming. Generate Jester sends Wyoming into set point. Purdy serving. Lau Hee passes. Sikola Falamaka never over. And that's the set for Wyoming as we split. Set 1, all UNLV. Set 2, all Wyoming. So we saw some very different output from both of these teams. Wyoming hitting for 333 in set number 2 versus a 0.68 hitting percentage in set 1. Wyoming also having a much tougher serve, but UNLV fighting back late in set 1, showing some tenacity. Amy Gann is standing by with Wyoming head coach Kara Yurdy.
Coach Yurdy, great job coming out in that second set, making adjustments. What did you tell your team in between games 1 and 2?
Well, first we needed just to relax and get into our groove, and then we needed to follow our game plan. We were allowing UNLV to take the momentum from us, and UNLV's got some nice players, and our game plan is really to stop their pin players, and their pin players have done a really nice job already in this early part of the match. So we've got to continue to neutralize their pin players and then follow our game plan and take care of our side of the business on the court.
Seems like you were able to come out and control the serve, but most importantly, control the errors. Is that something that you're going to need to do to take this match?
I think sometimes we press a little bit too hard. We get fired up, and Lauren Whitney is jumping out of the gym and hitting the back wall, which is very uncharacteristic. So we just need to calm down and get into our groove and continue to follow our game plan, and we'll be okay.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll let you go. All right, Anne-Marie.
Thanks, Amy. She talks about controlling her errors. They certainly did that. In set number 2, Wyoming had 1 hitting error against 13 kills. So we're splitting this Mountain West Conference matchup. Set 1 goes to UNLV, 2 to Wyoming. In this Mountain West Conference matchup, Amy, in set number 2, UNLV really trailed, never quite got it all the way together. What do they need to do differently in set 3?
Well, it came down to errors also for UNLV. I think just the defense has always been there, and it's always going to be there for the Rebels as they can control and just kind of dial it back a little bit and stay more in control. When they attack the ball, they give themselves more opportunities to swing. And when you have a great defense, you can rely on them and not take as many chances offensively.
Perfect pass from Chamos Yonan. And that leads to the Caitlin Winters, the attack from Callie Miller, who's been big for Wyoming. She's back to serve now, but this is a player that we weren't sure we were going to see a lot of today, and she's really been an impact player. Ace, the 4th one of the match, and her 2nd.
Well, Miller is just a redshirt freshman, hasn't seen much time this season, but coming on, you can see she's enjoying it, coming off the bench for Lauren Whitney, the senior, who really had an uncharacteristic first set with a lot of errors. That opened the door for Miller to come in. She did a great job in set 2, and Kara Yurdy confident enough to put her back in set 3.
You see her closing her eyes in frustration, saying, last time I served an ace and then an error. Now I did it again, an ace and an error. They go right after her, though. Said, hey, you putting a freshman out there for me? I'll serve her.
Oh, exactly. And quickly, Wyoming makes the substitution. It's Becky Stewart in. Another freshman, though, but she's a defensive player.
That was the first service ace for UNLV in this match. They go back to the freshman again. Purdy through the block. And the point goes to Wyoming. Look, anywhere you look on these teams, you're going to see freshmen right now because it is a fairly young team. That was good serving by Glendenning.
Well, it is, and you talk about the youth on both these teams. I mean, especially for Wyoming, Purdy, as just a sophomore, you would call her young, but a lot of these sophomores who were freshmen last year, there were 9 on Wyoming's squad last year, so they saw a lot of time, had to play huge major roles, and because of that, they're now more seasoned veterans.
And that dropped right between 2 sophomores that are seasoned veterans,
exactly.
Purdy and Chamos Yonan. And that's the 2nd time we've seen Chamos Yonan, who's the libero, kind of cede the pass to somebody else. You don't see that normally.
Well, exactly. As a libero, you want to get in there and almost push someone away. Every pass that comes over the net, every free ball should be your ball. And you could see Chamos Yonan talking to Purdy saying, hey, my fault. You go out there, you get your approach, and I'll get that.
Yeah, I mean, the libero is that person who can step in front of you on serve receive if they want. I mean, they can do whatever they want in terms of, I'm the best passer on this team, the best defender on this team. Service error back-to-back then for Wyoming.
Well, 2 quick errors in a row for Wyoming, and that is what plagued them in the first set, opening the door a little bit for the Rebels to make a run.
Geraldine Makaibi just arrived back with the team. She missed most of this week tending to an ailing grandmother, and Missed practice all week, but Allison Cooney felt okay putting her into serve. Purdy feels okay about that.
Well, you can see Rachel Keys, freshman setter, making an excellent choice. The middle holds the middle for Wyoming, or for UNLV. One-on-one situation for Purdy. She should go over and pat her middle on the back and say thank you very much for opening up that block for me.
Spoken like a true middle. That was her 9th kill from Purdy, but it's true. She did it. She occupied that middle blocker. And that's Jenna Ray Jester then doing her job blocking.
Well, Jenna Ray Jester, this is her 3rd year as a captain for the Wyoming Cowgirls. She said, Coach Shirley said she's the best leader I've ever seen in my life, which is a huge compliment. She's played in every single match, and she just needs to be on the floor.
Outside, triple block. Nice touch. Tramashanen puts it up. Outside, little roll shot. And Glendenning has a nice set outside. They're working those left side hitters. And Callie Miller again with a kill. 3rd one for her. She hasn't made an error yet.
She hasn't. Jenna Ray Jester in the middle doing her job along the net. Callie Miller on the outside just doing a great job swinging high, keeping that ball in play.
Purdy, tough serve. Great dig. Purdy puts up a very hittable ball. UNLV goes through the triple block.
Moiai on that play, yeah, triple block in front of her is hard, and you can see she almost hit that ball on the way down, but somehow was able to tool the block.
Sikola Falemaka serving. Outside, tip to the line. Again, Callie Miller, her 4th kill. Uses her head, smart player.
Well, she is. As a freshman, she's playing very, very confident because on the outside, you don't get the perfect plays. You don't get the perfect sets all the time, so you have to be able to make adjustments and choose what to do with the ball.
Cross court. A shot from Candace Thomas.
And that's the first time we've seen Thomas go behind the setter on a slide. She's very good, just a really quick step out there. For sure UNLV is going to want to get her the ball as much as possible. They want to get their middles the ball. They just need to get a pass up to the net.
A service ace, you know, as we were talking about Candace Thomas, she didn't run behind the setter a lot in high school, Coach told us. And so for her to be able to get comfortable behind the setter is really important for her in this college game because she's going to need it.
Well, I think that's what it is for both these medals for UNLV. Everything is about adjusting to the college game, which is faster and just a lot more difficult.
No block. And Reese Cassie says, okay, I'll take it.
We're running slides now. Okay. I think that's the 2nd one we've seen. The middles really have stayed in front. And that you're going to see that a lot, especially when you're in a 6-2, because you've got 3 hitters in the front row all the time. So that really keeps the middles staying in front of the setter.
And Wyoming's hitting at 500. This set, Sarah Nehf tried to increase UNLV's hitting percentage, and UNLV really has struggled all match long with the hitting percentage, but defensively they've been quite strong.
Well, and that's probably the most frustrating thing is because they've had so many opportunities. As you pop the ball up defensively, you have another chance to swing and stay in the game. But like you said, just offensively, the Rebels can't get anything going.
Back set is big, and right off the hands of Amanda Alice. Point for Wyoming.
So much miscommunication on the side for Wyoming, but still able to pull that point out.
Callie Miller serving still perfect for her hitting. That ball in, and the point goes to the Rebels. Kendra Glendenning serving. The freshman, or the sophomore setter, has been really accurate and played a big role for this team in this match. They're going after those freshmen. That's Becky Stewart.
tough one if you look at the setters for UNLV. I mean, Lawson, she jumps very well, but at only 5'9", when that pass is tight to the net, she's not going to be able to save that ball. So it puts more pressure on Wyoming to get a nice pass up to the net that she can hit. So.
Middle attack is solid for Wyoming.
Wyoming coming right back with a perfect pass up to the net. 3-option pass, 3 options. They go quick middle.
The ball is dug, but lost in the pursuit, and Wyoming and UNLV again sit tied in set 3.
Well, I think something for Wyoming where they're going to struggle right now in the passing lanes is they are missing Lauren Whitney, who struggled in the first set hitting, but is probably one of the best passers on the team. She passes close to 2-4, which means she's in between a 2-option pass and a 3-option pass every single time, and having her on the bench, that really is taking away from their pass.
So you think Coach has her on the bench just because she hasn't been hitting well, and Callie Miller has been so strong? UNLV's block proving solid. Trammell-Shannon digs, and Purdy pushes for that line. Sarah Nehf from the back court. Sarah Nehf has 10 kills in this match.
Well, she has 4 in this 3rd set alone, so the senior really stepping up out of the break to make an impact.
She's also got 15 digs. She's got a double-double going already. Oh, that block was straight down from Kelsey Keeler.
Her pass now so tight to the net. Keeler almost touched it before Purdy did on the outside. And you can see how UNLV, they're interested in that. Most teams in a blocking situation will block inside out. UNLV always blocks outside in. They always start on that antenna and move in. And so if you're a team that's going to attack UNLV, the line is rarely open because they always start out there instead of slowly. They don't move outside like you'll see most teams do.
Coaches are going to take a break. We will too, as these two teams have battled back and forth in set 3. UNLV with the upper hand by 2.
How can I help you today?
We need a car loan, a new savings account for the boy, and we need to open a CD.
For his missionary fund. That's a good idea.
It's never too soon.
Is this your first?
Yes.
Congratulations. Let's start with the loan. Did you have a car picked out?
Oh, we're thinking about a minivan.
Or an SUV.
But most likely a minivan.
Honey.
Not now.
We understand our members better. Deseret First, proud sponsor of the Deseret First Duel.
These two teams battling back and forth in set 3. UNLV's hitting percentage not that great, but they have ridden the back of this woman, Sarah Nehf, this entire match.
They have with 6 kills in the first 2 sets and 4 in this 3rd set alone. Sarah Nehf, the senior, has really gotten it done on the outside. She has hammered the ball, and she's been great out of the back row as well, just being a great outlet to this team. And her huge kills have really sparked the momentum for UNLV.
She's also contributed 15 digs with a double-double. It's her 8th career double-double. And we're not even done with this match yet. Middle attack, and Jody Purdy leading the way for Wyoming has her 10th kill of the match.
Well, you can see Wyoming, when they do get a pass up to the net, they really like to diversify their offense. Jody Purdy coming in inside, almost in the 2 slot, but really opening up that seam and getting that kill.
You told us before the match it was going to be a bit of a shootout between Purdy and Nehf, and it has become just that. Nehf, little off-speed, Trammell-Shannon puts it up. Middle from Brown, great shot. Or Thomas, great shot. Candace Thomas. Outside, and again, that's Callie Miller. Moriahu crushes it.
And this Rebel squad, both outside hitters, do an excellent job hitting just right inside the block. Tough cross court. It's her 8th kill, Moiahi.
Kelsey Keeler serving for the Rebels. Nice save, but a tough angle.
Oh, such a great serve. You can see Keeler on that ball got such great float, and the bottom just dropped out of it. UNLV is a team with not a lot of jump servers, which is something you see a lot of, especially in the past few years. But they're able to use that float serve so effectively because they scoot back and get a lot of movement on the ball.
Callie Miller likes a TV game. She's having a great time, having stepped in off the bench and contributing strongly. 6 kills for her. Moiahi, another big player for UNLV, really contributing a lot.
Well, Moiahi, you know, that's difficult when you're on the outside to go up against a triple block almost every time, and she's making great decisions. You can see her hang in the air on that play. She didn't have to hammer the ball, but she was able to turn it and hit it deep down the line for the solid kill.
Coach decided to bring in Niall Teo, the defensive specialist, to serve. She's also a serving specialist. Came into this match with 13 aces. Purdy, perfect pass. And again, behind the setter. That was Reese Warcassi.
You can see what a perfect pass does. It really just opens up the court, puts so much pressure on the block. When you can go pin to pin, either behind or in front, that middle blocker has got to make a decision, and they're always going to be late.
That's Callie Miller, big block on Candace Thomas.
And the Rebels trying to force a slide, not the best situation to do that. You could see Thomas, that ball was behind her. She lost sight of the block that was in front of her, and it was Miller, and it was big. A huge block as Wyoming pulls to within 1.
In the preseason, Wyoming picked to finish 7th in the preseason. You take a look at that number. When you look at the standings now, they're sitting 2nd, and you're starting to see why. Wyoming has depth, and I don't know that we've seen the Cowgirls have depth. Callie Miller, Tamara Kittich, both of them off the bench, contributing big, and that's something that Kara Yurdy has not had in years past.
Well, it isn't. I think it's interesting to look at the preseasons for all these squads. Obviously, you can't compare them because they're playing different teams. But Wyoming played a preseason where they played some good quality teams, but they were able to win. And I wonder if that, you know, winning attitude gave them the confidence to come into this conference season and really make a difference.
UNLV at home always plays everyone tough. And again, very different situations for these two teams. Wyoming returned 8 letter winners. UNLV lost a couple of significant letter winners and has some freshmen starting, most notably perhaps in the middle in Thomas and Westman, a key position, especially when it comes to youth, because it always shows up in the blocking, or at least it usually does.
Oh, definitely. I think I remember my first couple matches as a middle blocker. I felt like I was spinning in circles because the game is so much faster from the high school and club season when you get into college.
Wasich outside. Yeah, I'd go back to Miller too. Another kill for the redshirt freshman.
Well, and just now in the match, you could see in this 3rd set especially, Wyoming just looks like they're having fun out there. You know, these are players that are working hard, but they're clearly get along as a team, and they're having fun. They're excited, and that excitement, you know, wears off on the other players, and each player is buoyed by their other someone else. And that's what they were saying about Jody Purdy, is that as a leader, she really just makes those around her better. And I think this whole team in general is very unselfish. They just want what's best for the program.
Warcassi again from the slide. It's long, and that ends the Wyoming 3-0 run. As this set is tied up, why should we be surprised? Sets 1 and 2 are split. Set 3 tied up. Warcassi tips over the middle. The block solid for the Rebels. Callie Miller through the block of UNLV. Nehf goes long. Warcassi puts it up. and Miller over. Not the prettiest end, but Tamara Kittich gets the kill.
All right, Westman with a unfortunate set. She sets Wyoming, and that play ends. But one of the longest rallies of the match, as both teams working very hard at the net.
That ball deep and in, and UNLV exchanging point for point as we're tied up at 19. 6-point game from this point on. Here comes a freshman for a freshman exchange in the back. So far, every time we have seen Becky Stewart, number 4 for Wyoming, come in, UNLV has served her. Done. That time, Parmesan stepped in.
She did on that play, and that probably means UNLV didn't serve their service spot, because this is a great scoring rotation for the Rebels. And Carrie Yurdy knows that she wants a timeout. It's been very difficult for Wyoming to get a side out in this rotation, mostly because they can't get a pass up to the net.
Allison Keeley talking with her team. They have the upper hand, but it has been so tenuous in this Mountain West Conference matchup. Don't forget, our next match comes your way next Thursday when TCU visits 17th ranked Colorado State. Our coverage starts at 7:30 Mountain Time. It's Mountain West Conference volleyball only on the mountain. Colorado State picked to finish first in the conference. They're playing like it. TCU, a lot of changes and injuries to them as well, but always a strong contender.
Well, and I think anytime you play at Moby, it's always a fun match and it's always an intense match. So Prentice Lewis is definitely going to have her team prepared to go in and try to take down the Rams.
TCU lost a couple of key players to injury back-to-back early in the season, so it'll be interesting to see how they fill those voids. Meanwhile, Wyoming and UNLV battling back and forth. Hitting percentages for both teams have come up significantly in this set. We're seeing more of a clean game. And yes, they are fired up here. This set has been tied 9 times.
Well, and at this point in the match, in this point in the set, you've got to play tough. You can't play scared, but you cannot make errors.
Purdy. Block. That's Keeler and Westman.
It's a big block on the outside. Purdy is doubled up. Sits straight into that block.
A 3-0 UNLV run. That ball long from Jenna Ray Jester, or from Tamara Kittich.
Well, we talked about that this is a tough rotation for Wyoming. Jody Purdy feels like she's all alone on the outside. They're trying to get the ball to other people, but the block for UNLV has been so tough in reading the offense for Wyoming. They are unable to even have a ball cross the net, and that's 3 quick points for UNLV, and they're 2 away from taking the set.
The freshman passes outside to Purdy. You tell Purdy was thinking, don't make an error here.
We'll just get a nice, hittable ball. She didn't hit it right at the defender, but bonus points that the Rebels couldn't control it, which is something they really have done well all night.
This is the moment for Jadranka Karmazyanin. Nehf block solo from Purdy.
And one-on-one, you can see Purdy, though, lining up with her hitter's approach. A perfect read. She's able to get that block.
And she enjoyed that block, too.
It was much needed. This is a huge, huge play coming out of this timeout for Wyoming. They've got to get this point.
First thing we know is you have to serve it in. How many times have we seen that, right? You give the other team set point on a missed serve. These two teams battling it out. You want to position yourself into good position in the Mountain West Conference as you head down the stretch. And when you take a look at the standings, you know that Wyoming picked to finish 7th preseason, we mentioned, sitting at 2nd now. And UNLV, a lot to gain from a win here tonight.
Well, I think just any time, it's going to come down to you got to take care of business at home. So that puts a lot of pressure on UNLV because they're thinking, hey, you know, this conference is up for grabs. These first 2 weekends have just been so crazy as to what anyone thought, that you've got to take care of business at home and get the win.
Everyone enjoying Polynesian night. Are you going to put that on, buddy, or not? No, he's going to eat it instead, like any good child there. It's Polynesian night, and why not? UNLV has a great Polynesian influence. We've enjoyed the music all night. There's been some dancing during the intermission. Wyoming and UNLV providing some great volleyball, trading leads in this set, particularly many times, and Jody Purdy with 11 kills, hitting 212 for this team, 5 digs. Crushing the ball goes Kelsey Keeler. UNLV sits at set point.
Well, and the Rebels made the adjustment out of this break in this third set. Their defense continued to stay strong, but their offense was able to get the job done, get some kills.
What a set! But Moriarty takes an impossible angle and makes it possible.
And the Rebels come out to take the lead 2-1 off a solid performance.
UNLV controlling the home court as they lead by 2-1.
There is a place.
Order Stars from Cox for just $8 a month for 3 months. Call now.
When you are wrongfully injured through no fault of your own, life can be tough. Oasis Legal Finance is the #1 choice to provide clients the money.
Conference Freshman of the Year, a preseason all-conference player. She certainly has done her part with 11 kills. Is she getting enough support from everyone else, though? She's got some bench players that are bringing it in, but everybody knows the ball's going to Purdy.
Oh, exactly. I mean, as a player, you can only do so much, especially on the outside. You have UNLV absolutely camping out there. They know the ball's going to go outside to Purdy. The other players need to step up. They've got to get a pass up to the net so that they can split that offense, get more people involved.
You know, Purdy's swung at the ball 33 times. Next closest is Callie Miller with 18 swings. She's off the bench. By the way,
Yeah,
Callie Miller
didn't play.
Yeah, she didn't play in the first set. Meanwhile, Callie Miller, number 11 in black, has not made a hitting error yet. That is contributing to your team. 7 kills on 18 swings, hitting 389 off the bench.
It is, but you have to give credit to the Rebels, who did an excellent job coming into that third set. They really played with more poise, cut down on their errors. They only had 5 hitting errors in that third set, where they had 8 before, but they also just were able to make big plays. And everyone was able to step up. They have 2 players in double figures, and they've got a couple more closing in on that point. So a little more diversified were the Rebels.
Yeah, and we see that in a million different ways. We also see it in all the digs here, whereas Yadranka Tramosjanen for Wyoming, their libero, has 21 kills. The next highest has 5. She's been an incredible player for this team. Only a sophomore out of Serbia. They call her Japsa. And, of course, their setter, Barbara Losic, out of Bosnia as well. So we've got the Polynesian influence on one team. We've got Eastern Europe on the other team. Not an easy game to call in terms of pronunciations.
Yes, well, I think these setters, all the setters for both sides, have got a big job ahead of them, because they have got to try to put together an offense when the pass just isn't working and things aren't going together.
Third time we've seen a ball drop in front of Yadranka Tramosjanen. Really unusual for her. She's an incredible leader, a very determined person. It just looks to be a communication error, perhaps. Kendra Glendenning, meanwhile, sophomore setter serving. And a kill for Moore Cassie.
Well, and that's what Wyoming needs, is to split that offense, to try to attack at both antenna, try to get the ball a little more to the right side so that the block for UNLV has to travel a little further and make a few more decisions.
Purdy. Lau Hee digs it. Nice dig, too. And off the block goes Keeler of UNLV.
That's a great play from Keeler. That's such an interesting set because you can see that if it's meant to or if it just dies inside, that's a tough ball to hit. And Keeler does a nice job to use the block and get that to fall out of bounds.
Free ball to UNLV. Outside to Purdy. Puts it right down in front of Nehf.
Nehf just back on her heels on that play. Couldn't get it. So the serve for UNLV just giving Wyoming fits right now. They are lucky to get that side out. They're going to try to go back and put some pressure on the Rebels as well.
Parmigiani goes at Lau Hee. Nehf, little one over the block. And the point for the Rebels, Sarah Nehf showing a senior brain.
Triple block in front of her. She just tips it right over. There's nobody playing defense.
Madeline Westman serving for the Rebels. Service error for Westman. Third error for this team. They have equal number of aces. Rachel Keys, a freshman out of Lakewood, serving. Outside. And right around the block was Mackenzie Moyahi.
Moyahi made it look like she had 4 feet of open court to hit into, but she really just squeaked it by the block, hitting cross court.
That was Moyahi's 10th kill. Nice solid swing from Lauren Whitney, who has returned.
And Lauren Whitney coming back after sitting out sets 2 and 3. They're going to need her in the backcourt, especially from the passing lanes.
Well, Thomas. That ball in on the cross-court swing from Camille Kaufman.
Kaufman's been quiet the last 2 sets because the pass for Wyoming has struggled. They can't get her the ball when she's back there. And as they try to open that up, hopefully with Whitney in there, maybe passing at a little higher percentage, they're going to try to get those other players involved.
Outside, the tip. Nehf just keeping it in play. Lauren Whitney back, wanting to make a statement. Backcourt, Purdy in the net.
A missed opportunity right there for Wyoming. Trying to close out that long rally. Purdy just misses.
And in that shot, you can see Lau Hee step right into position, seeing where that ball is going. As Wyoming makes a substitution and Niall Teo comes in to serve. Your backcourt now is Lau Hee and Teo and Falemaka. It's Polynesian now. Those 3 players, by the way, Lau Hee, Teo and Falemaka probably average about 5'6". Low to the ground, quick.
And our typical UNLV, where they just dig every single ball that comes their way.
Boy, you hear Jenna Jester calling for that ball. Nehf pushes deep corner, but Purdy's there. The triple block from Wyoming, but the Rebels send it over and off it.
Sarah Nehf hitting that ball high. You can see with a triple block, you can't go up and hammer it. Sarah Nehf keeps it high, just uses the block of Jester. Even with the triple block, you have to be solid and well formed.
They go at Whitney to see if she can still pass. Yes, she can. And Candace Thomas meets Jenna Jester in the middle for a block.
Talking to Coach Yurdy, she said, I really like it when teams will serve our front row passer when it's Lauren Whitney, because she's one of the best on the squad. We want the ball to go to her.
Whitney, part of the senior leadership for this team. She digs that ball. Purdy. And it's over. Whitney again puts it up. Back. But Sarah Nehf and Candace Thomas block.
You can see Sarah Nehf, she makes such great blocking moves. She really watches her hitter, stays with her, fronts her hitter. Just a perfect position on that block.
Outside to Whitney. And again, the block, that time, 5'9" Amanda Alice with a big block. UNLV on a 3-0 run takes a lead in set 4. They're leading this match 2-1. Can they finish it out in 4 sets?
What's your 2:30 feeling like?
Sometimes my whole day is a 2:30 feeling. Get home from one job, start my second job, and I'm running on empty. So I turned to 5-Hour Energy. I was a little nervous at first, but my husband kept talking about how great.
Playing on their home court, Sarah Nehf, much of the reason why she struggled a little bit early on, but has come alive in sets 3 and 4.
Well, I think UNLV as a whole, sets 3 and 4, they struggled in the first 2 sets to get their offense going. In the third and fourth sets, they're hitting close to 300 and above 300 right now in the fourth.
Yeah, their highest hitting percentage of the match, coming at just the right time. As you see, Camille Kaufman, the sophomore out of Missouri.
Such a great set. Kaufman, just an easy kill. She had a ton of court to hit into. Rachel Keys, the freshman, puts up a perfect ball.
Amanda Alice tries a little trickery and then puts it up. Another block. That's Alice. And 6'3" Madeline Westman shutting it down on the left side.
Well, if you look at Wyoming, this is the difficult spot for Carrie Yurdy at this point. Lauren Whitney, clearly a great defender in the backcourt, but struggling in the front row. At what point do you make the sub and put back in Miller, who hasn't made an error all night long?
Right, but isn't passing. Yeah, exactly.
That's when you make the point, right there.
So, Carrie Yurdy and you channeling each other, and again, Miller gets another kill, her 8th. Still perfect in terms of errors and hitting .421. Do you put Whitney in just the backcourt for her?
Exactly. Well, she split it so she could have both.
Yeah.
Because that's why Carrie Yurdy's so smart. So she has Lauren Whitney playing in the backcourt, but then Miller playing in the opposite position, where she's not used to playing, but they need her on the floor.
Cassie, meanwhile, patiently in the middle, put that ball down. As Wyoming trying to chip away at that lead. Glendenning, nice set outside. So good as Kelsey Keeler gets the kill.
Glendening's just a very calming influence. She does a really nice job. She's run this court very well. I think UNLV in general has just stayed very calm, especially in sets 3 and 4, and just gone about their business.
Yeah, Glendenning has been really strong in terms of her setting. Great location, it looks like, early on. And a nice dig from her there. We got Kela Lau Hee there, and Mackenzie Moyahi said, right, Lau Hee, she gets everything. Moyahi and Lau Hee and Nehf receiving. Moyahi passes and then hits, and of course it's Callie Miller with a big block.
Well, because Miller on the outside, she does a great job. She shows that she can make that adjustment and play right side as well. Just a great job for Miller to step in wherever the team has needed her.
She's going to be Midas today. Everything she touches gold. Perfect set from Glendenning again. Touched, and the point goes to UNLV. Glendenning, a transfer out of Mesa State College. Right now, Madeline Westman, the freshman from Illinois, leads the team in blocks. He's serving. Purdy passes and then faces Candace Thomas in the middle.
And Thomas not fooled at all on that play. You could hear the coaches from the bench yelling, she's coming inside. Everybody trying to get ready for Jody Purdy, and Thomas right there for that block.
A lot of blocking in this match by both teams. Again, off hands as Callie Miller.
You know, you would think, looking at a player like Miller or anybody on the floor, if you're not familiar with volleyball, that, oh, on the right side, on the outside, it's all the same. But it's very different because when you're on the right side, you have to wait for the set to cross your body before you hit. On the outside, you go and get it. So a lot of people who may be good on the outside are not great hitters on the right side. They can't make that adjustment. Clearly Miller, very, very good on both sides.
That was the 10th serving error for Wyoming. A lot of those errors came up early. Purdy. Wow, Moiahi caught that just inside the antenna. Thomas made herself available for Alice. Big block.
Huge block. Double block that committed with her on that play, but Thomas really not knowing what to do with Jester. You could see her long arms in front of her.
Jody Purdy serving. Nehf. There's that out-of-system pass that you talk about. Deep corner. Perfect placement as Wyoming ties it up again.
This is such a critical set for these teams. I think they all know it's on the line. You can see their captains talking to them saying, at this point, we've got to get it. We can't let them get this set. UNLV feels the pressure. They don't want it to go to 5.
Moiahi on the triple block. Purdy from the back court.
Yeah, she came from the backcourt, jumped in front of the line to hit that ball, and then turned around and said, yeah, my bad, sorry. I was just so excited. Yeah. Oops, steps her foot over the line.
Yeah, backcourt attack from her has to be behind the 3-meter line. Niall Teo. That one in the back line from Camille Kaufman.
Well, I think both these teams really, we've seen so many hard hits straight down that the defense is getting sucked inside the court. If either team would like a kill at this point, the deep line, either deep corner or even along the baseline is definitely the spot to go.
The middle attack working as Reese Cassie of Wyoming helps the Cowgirls take a lead on a 3-0 run. Wyoming changing the game a little bit in terms of having this little run. What do they need to do to finish out this set and force it to 5?
Well, we saw in set 3 that Wyoming didn't have the finishing power that they needed, and UNLV just continued to roll and get to that point. So Carrie Yurdy, yeah, that's the question right now for Wyoming. Can they continue this pace? We see two very, very different teams where UNLV, more of a workhorse, let's go get the job done, not a lot of emotion, where Wyoming, very emotional, gets very excited after every play, kind of thrives on that emotion. Can they utilize that to gain some momentum and get a couple more points?
As you look at Lauren Whitney there listening to coach, she has struggled offensively, as you've said, still hitting negative numbers, but such a critical part of this team, being a senior from Cotacaza, California. Maybe Carrie Yurdy has found a place for her in this match while she struggles offensively by being that passer.
I think they need her defense, and I think that's what Yurdy's going to balance is can she do okay in the front row and then be that passer that we need, because Wyoming has got to have an offense that they can run.
Meanwhile, Candace Thomas in the middle for UNLV, patrolling that middle block. Nehf. We haven't seen that little jump over recently. It didn't work that time. The slide, it's worked in the past. UNLV's defense is solid. They're going for that corner, Amy, that you talked about.
You don't want to go every time, though.
How about through the block? Does that work for you? Camille Kaufman like that one.
Well, that's the only way Wyoming is going to get a kill. That defense for UNLV just all over the place. Teo patrolling that back line, keeping everything up.
And another point for Wyoming.
Jester putting a nice serve. She's been serving well all night. She's really utilizing this big floor to get a lot of float on her serve.
Thomas. Purdy goes to the right side. Looking for hands. Don't get me from Camille Kaufman.
Kaufman trying to save that ball. That set a little tight to the net. Kaufman can't quite keep it in play, and UNLV with a huge side out to stop the momentum for Wyoming.
Yeah, that ends the 5-0 run that the Cowgirls put together. And again, that crossing pattern in the back you've talked about. They're really setting that back set a lot. All right, doesn't matter who hits it, it's down.
And that's a tough play as a middle. You want to take every one of those balls, but it should be the person whoever their arm swing. Obviously, when you have a right-handed hitter, they should take that play, but I think Wyoming will take it however they can get it.
Now they've got Miller on the right side, Whitney on the left for Wyoming, so you know that ball's going back. Because Miller doesn't miss today. She's Midas.
That's right, so if you're UNLV, you call a timeout right here and say, okay, we know where the ball's going to go. Let's get a side out, and then let's get back in this, because Wyoming just hit that 20-point mark, and UNLV is down 4, and Miller with her 10th kill on the right, on the left. She's getting it done everywhere.
It's true that we do know where that ball's going. You see Whitney, number 3, up front. She's on the left. That's why we're seeing that back set over and over again. You've got Rourke-Cassie in the middle. So that right side blocker can maybe cheat a little bit because they know the ball's probably not going to Whitney in the front.
Well, and how much pressure does that put on the pass for Wyoming? Because to get that ball to Miller, you've got to have a perfect pass. So that puts UNLV in a good situation when they do get the ball back to serve to try to take them out of their offense. They want Wyoming to have to set Whitney, who's struggling right now and a little undersized.
Whitney's sister, Kirsty, plays volleyball for Boise State. She's a little bit of a volleyball family. Boise State going to join the Mountain West next year, but well, she's not going to be here anymore. Whitney's a senior. She's going to graduate.
But they were able to play in the preseason. They played each other. Wyoming actually losing one of their only losses to Boise State.
It's a good little tune-up for a Mountain West Conference match. Meanwhile, we're looking at Miller going over to the right side. Middle to Rourke-Cassie. Nehf. Oh, and it's saved. Nehf blocked by Rourke-Cassie.
And that's the play right there UNLV loves, is to try to quickly shoot it out to Sarah Nehf so she can attack that seam, but Rourke-Cassie could see her move and just quickly drop that right arm in that seam to get the block.
And another point for Wyoming as they put together another run now, a 4-0 run, and we're past that 20-point mark.
Well, it's very difficult right now for the Rebels to come back down 6. They've got to play perfect.
Nehf blocked again as Wyoming now on a 5-0 run.
You know, we talked about how tough it is to come play in this gym. I think Miller would love to play in here every night. She's having a great match.
Nehf, triple block, a little bit late, and she'll make you pay.
Oh, beautiful swing from Sarah Nehf, and you can see her lean over. She's getting a lot of sets. She's breathing hard, very, very tired.
Nehf has taken 38 swings for her team. Moiahi has as well. Middle, swing! Free ball. Rourke-Cassie behind, and it's a kill. set point for Wyoming.
Well, after being tied 16-16, Wyoming, we wondered if they would finish strong. They came out of that timeout and have steamrolled the Rebels.
Lauren Whitney serving in that defensive role now. Great dig. And Wyoming comes back, takes set 4, forces it to a 5th and deciding set. This match, a Mountain West Conference matchup for the ages, a 7-1 run to end the set by Wyoming as they take set number 4. Wyoming and UNLV battling back and forth, trading set for set, blow for blow, as we're now going into a 5th and deciding set. Amy, that 5th set goes awfully quick.
It does. It's only to 15-15. Quick points. Errors become so important. Team switch sides at 8. So really, it's anyone's match. Wyoming playing only one 5-game set so far this year. They were able to win. UNLV has been in 4 matches that went 5th sets. They were able to win 3 of them. So the Rebels a little more comfortable this season going to 5.
One of the things that Kara Yurdi told us coming into this match is that she wanted to do that triple block and kind of force people to hit at her libero. Kara Yurdi said she wanted Yajanka Tramasyan in number 6 for Wyoming to have a career digs night. That she's going to have. Prior to this match, she had 29 career digs coming in. She reached 29 in the last set. So Kara Yurdi's team executing the game plan.
Well, clearly we could see the momentum on Wyoming's side. They're very emotional. They are excited and happy. And Miller on the floor for Wyoming has been an added boost to them. You can see UNLV on the other hand. This is their house. They're very comfortable here playing. They struggled a bit in the 4th set, but they know what to do. And Sarah Nehf has been playing very confidently in the 3rd and 4th sets especially. And you can see her talking to her team. She's the leader on this floor. She's going to see the ball throughout most of the 5th set.
Both these teams having leaders emerging, and this woman, Callie Miller, still has not had a hitting error, hitting .455 with 10 kills coming off the bench for this team. And Lauren Whitney, okay, her offense hasn't been that strong, but she defensively is critical for this team. A senior who knows that she can still contribute even when her attacks aren't going in is critical too.
Well, and that's what's great about, everything is not always on. You find a way to win, you find a way to contribute however you can. And there's a nice kill for Whitney. That probably feels good as she goes to the backcourt to serve.
Notice coach started so that she would be in the backcourt early on, having Miller the hot hand up front with Purdy and Rotassi. Tough serve from Whitney. Oh, and a miscommunication for UNLV in only a 15-point set.
Exactly. Every single error just so important, and every momentum swing important. We've seen so many different runs and points on either side of the floor. All it takes in a 5th set is one run, and that could be it.
Glendening goes outside. The triple block again effective. Purdy goes for that corner. A little tip. It's picked up and put outside again. The defense we've come to expect from these two teams. That ball looked for hands, didn't get any. It's wide, and a 3rd consecutive point for Wyoming. They ended last set on a 7-1 run. They have continued it now on a 10-1 run, if you will. Middle. Madeline Westman from the middle.
Westman with just a quick tip. It works, it falls, and UNLV, they needed that point. They need that side out. This is a great opportunity for them to score.
That ball wide from Sarah Nehf, another point for Wyoming.
Well, that's a tough error right there, especially from the senior, just as they work so hard to get the ball back, try to gain some momentum.
And an error given back. And this set, perhaps more than the other, the serving's tricky because you really can't serve a lollipop in there. But it does need to be in there.
It does, and when it gets tight, I mean, the fifth set, all is on the line, so you get to see the mental toughness of each individual player. It's really easy to go up and swing away or to serve tough when nothing's on the line, but when the match is on the line, you can see which players really step up.
Glendenny goes outside, Moriarty. Purdy. Oh, frustrated as she hit the net again.
Well, I think we saw the most errors in the first set, where both teams still playing kind of tight, maybe forcing the ball too much. We talked to Kela Lau Hee in between after game 2, and she said, my team tends to press a little bit. I have to tell them to relax. Both teams seeming a little tense in this fifth set.
Perfect pass from Whitney. And a solid block. Kelsey Keeler enjoying her time next to Candace Thomas in the middle.
Well, Keeler usually on the outside, on the right side, anywhere Keeler is, I would set away from. She's a huge block.
Whitney, key on the passing. Miller. Another big hit. Purdy again. Keeler has her number.
All over Jody Purdy. 3 errors. And the block for UNLV just reading everything. We said UNLV didn't have much emotion. Well, there's a little emotion right there. Candace Thomas trying to fire up her team.
UNLV, 14 team blocks to Wyoming's 9. That has changed the momentum of set number 5.
I didn't deserve to get eliminated.
The goal was not accomplished. The mission was not accomplished. I came here to win.
I played solid ball, so I went from the top to the bottom. That was really hard to swallow.
Reunion. Revenge. Redemption. Big Break Dominican Republic. Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Golf Channel.
Kela Lau Hee talking with her setter, Barbara Lawsich, talking maybe about some decisions. Jody Purdy getting blocked the last couple of plays as UNLV has taken a 1-point lead in the 5th set. 1/3 of the way there, this set only to 15 points. It goes very fast. Whitney, another great pass. And you know that great pass leads to a Generate Jester kill.
Well, yeah, just pass after pass. Lauren Whitney, she may have struggled offensively, but you could tell that Wyoming does better with her on the floor. As that senior leader, she's talking to them, she's passing nails, she's good down the stretch. It's great for the Cowgirls to have Whitney on the floor.
Back. Off the block and in, and we go back to UNLV. And Amy, this is what we did for the first 4 sets, trade points back and forth.
Well, that's what it's got to come down to, because we said even one run, even a 3-point run could be it for the match.
Keeler serves Whitney again. Great pass. Generate Jester. Thomas, never over. Point, Wyoming.
And Thomas, that's the tough play right there as it's behind her. You can see she's turning and just totally loses sight.
We say never over, by the way, when it doesn't go over and you're the block across. 4 hits. Thomas wanted that one back, and it was wide. UNLV disagrees. The touch now awarded and the point to UNLV. Initial call. And then changed.
We'll get a good look at this play. Thomas does a nice job using Jester's hands out of bounds. Instead of hitting that ball straight on, she just uses it out of bounds. Obviously, Wyoming thought there was no touch on that play, and it's a crucial situation, but clearly the right call.
Right, and the line judge also is responsible for calling that touch, so they told official Verna Klubnikin that there was a touch on the ball. Back. Nehf, triple block, it doesn't matter.
You know, we're going to switch sides now at 8 points, but you could see UNLV clearly in control. The defense just reading everything Wyoming throws their way. Wyoming's struggling to get something going. The pass isn't breaking down, and that's probably the most frustrating thing for them, is that UNLV is digging everything and stopping everything that the Cowgirls throw their way.
Well, and Kara Yurdy told us before the match that she likes to finish with Barbara Losich on the court. She's not on the court right now. She likes to finish probably with Callie Miller today on the court. She's not on the court right now. They do have Lauren Whitney in the backcourt where she is best, but this is probably not Wyoming's best rotation in terms of what Kara Yurdy told us she likes to finish with pre-match. Wyoming hitting with negative numbers in the 5th set. Great set. And it ends up being a great kill from Camille Kaufman. Jenna Ray Jester serving. Service error. She's out. And libero Yadraka Tramashianen back in. That one hurts.
That does hurt, especially from your senior. It's probably not what Wyoming expected.
Kela Lau Hee serving. Purdy, great pass. Nehf powers through the block. Wyoming brings it down with them and point UNLV.
Well, that's a tough play right there. Yes, Wyoming wants to triple block, but it has to be a well-formed triple block. At that point, that set was so fast outside that Nehf could get on that ball quicker. The block wasn't formed. Nehf with 14 kills on the night.
14 kills, 20 digs. You can't overstate the importance of Sarah Nehf. And there you see the block late, as you talked about. They'll make you pay. So for Wyoming, Amy, in this situation, what do you do now?
Well, the confidence level has just dropped immensely. I mean, UNLV in control, feeling good. They're really just running the show. I think Wyoming has got to get something offensive going where they can get a first ball kill. Get the ball past this great defense that the Rebels are putting up.
You've got Roar Cassie in the front court, Camille Kaufman in the front court, and Lauren Whitney in the front court. Who are you setting?
Yeah, it's a difficult play right there. I think they've just got to get the ball up to the net. If you could get something quick, try to exploit the youth of the middles for UNLV, maybe something in the 3 slot, but they've got to get a pass up there to the net.
Roar Cassie does have 8 kills already, but Wyoming hitting 0 for set 5.
Well, and at 7-10, hey, UNLV's up 3. It may not seem like a lot, but this is a very, very quick match, only to 15. Wyoming's got to get a point.
They went with Kaufman. Nehf, dug by Tramashianen. Kaufman again. Over. Purdy puts up a good pass. It goes out to Whitney, who says, "Remember me?"
Well, Whitney has just seemed more solid. You watch her face as she leads. She's definitely a calming influence on the floor, and she shows as a senior she can make the big plays. That was a much-needed side out. They needed that point, and now Wyoming's going to try to work back in and try to tie this up.
Outside. Nehf, dug. It's in play. The middle. And again, off Whitney's hand.
That's a tough play right there because Lasic had a great dig, but because Miller's not used to being on the right side, she forgot for a second that she is the player that needs to step in and set that ball when the setter is out and digs it. And so that just a miscommunication right there ends up costing them a point.
Yeah, she ends up telling her setter afterwards, "I'll take it next time." Out to Miller. A little miss hit from Miller in terms of contact. Free ball. They're going to go back to Miller, of course. Broken play, and it works.
Look at the hard work on both these sides. We have players diving all over the floor, not giving up, just working so hard. This is such a hard-fought match for both these teams.
Now Kara Yurdy has the lineup she wants. Lauren Whitney in the back passing. Miller, Purdy up front with Roar Cassie. Tramashianen, big dig. Tries to bring it back as Callie Miller.
stepping up, Kelsey Keeler for UNLV, having a great set. She's doing a job offensively and defensively as well. Her block has been incredible. 10 kills on the night and 4 in this 5th set.
Meadow from Murkowski. She puts kill number 9, a big one.
Well, and that first ball kill right there gives Wyoming confidence to say, hey, we can get the ball down on this Wyoming team.
Wasich, Whitney, Tramashankin. Oh! Moyaki unloads.
Anytime there's a seam, you could see Moyaki watching that ball the whole way. She was going to hammer that seam.
UNLV 2 points away from taking this set, taking this match. Miller, block. And we sit at set point for UNLV. Match point at their home gym against the second place team in conference. Miller. Nehf. And UNLV takes the match. 5 sets against Wyoming. The Rebels earned this win.
Oh, and the Rebels came out struggling the first 2 sets, fought back, fired up by their defense. Their offense started to roll, and they get the win at home.
UNLV 15-10 takes the 5th and deciding set as they hold their home court against Wyoming. We'll be back.